Excuses, excuses. Human beings are masters at making excuses. I can't mow the lawn, Mom. I have homework. Oh, the dog ate my homework. No one's going to hire someone who looks like me. I'm too old for this stuff. I'm too young for this stuff. The problem is that behind these lie other assumptions. Assumptions like there's not enough time. There's always someone better out there. Or age makes me useless. To these, God says, harumph. Jeremiah experienced that harumph of God early in his life. This call of God to tell truth to power was going to be trouble for Jeremiah, and he knew it. While it isn't explained here, Old Testament scholar Walter Brueggemann's research showed that Jeremiah came from a family of priests who had been shut out of the Davidic dynasty by Solomon. So his reason to preach against the opulence and military focus of Solomon's court was part of his spiritual DNA. Hence, he was born to do this. Hence, God's harumph. Jeremiah's hesitancy was well-founded. God may have told him not to be afraid. God may have promised him divine presence in his ministry, and that was all well and good until he found himself at the bottom of a cistern. Such is the life of God's prophets. During my 15-year journey as a deacon, I found myself at the bottom of many institutional cisterns. Called to serve at the altar, I was a naive and young 30 when the church wrapped a collar around my neck. But it wasn't until after my ordination that my real calling became clear. Walk with people living with HIV and AIDS and tell their story to the church. I'd never experienced the kind of hate that I was subject to in that time. Hate from people who should have known better. Yet at the same time, I experienced love and community abundantly from my new friends. Not only did I tell their story to the church, I invited them to come and teach the church what it really meant to them. The queer community consistently pulled me out of the cisterns that the church hierarchy threw me into. And when the queer community convinced me that my call had changed to the priesthood, I listened. I resisted, but I listened. They knew me better than I knew myself. And I took their love and confidence and returned to the discernment process. I'm very happy for all of your presence at this workshop. Deacons need to preach. Deacons need to share the stories of the people they meet on the margins. Don't let members of the omnivorous presbyterate convince you that you're just a deacon and have no voice in this world or in this church. Your voice has so much more legitimacy than those hampered by the church pension fund. You need to preach as often as is possible, because deacon sermons remind the church just what it means to go forth to love and serve the Lord. Yes, there are cisterns with your name on them, but don't be afraid, seriously. God, in the presence of your colleagues and the marginal people whom you love, will pluck you out and replant you so you can grow. Tell the truth to the church, who continues to prefer opulence over obedience. Being the maitre d' at the king's table is an awesome call. In between taking orders and serving at the altar table, there is opportunity to meet Jesus in everyday life. And while that's true for all people, it's especially set aside for the deacons. God knows you. God called you. You are enough. Go preach the good news.